between ancient god Tuo Sen and ancient demon Bailah. Who is truly stronger and who is weaker? One is an ancient god, the other an ancient demon. Tuo Sen originates from the ancient clan, yet in his eyes, the dignified ancient demon Bailah is nothing more than worthless trash. He even arrogantly claimed that he could easily annihilate Bailah with a single hand. So, what is the real reason behind this? Is it because ancient gods are overwhelmingly powerful, or because ancient demons are simply too weak? To uncover the truth hidden behind the ancient clan, one must first understand this. The ancient clan were the earliest defiant cultivators to appear in the universe. They neither revered the heavens nor cultivated immortality. Instead, they relied solely on tempering their physical bodies and evolving divine abilities to roam freely across the cosmos. The origin of the three ancient races, ancient gods, ancient devils, and ancient demons, can be traced back to a remote primordial powerhouse known as Mo. Back then, this great being was schemed against and slain by the seven-colored immortal Venerable. At the moment of death, he condensed all of his remaining source power into 3,000 drops of essence blood, which he scattered throughout heaven and earth. These drops of essence blood took root and evolved, giving rise to the three great races, the ancient gods, ancient devils, and ancient demons. Beyond that, Mo further condensed the very core of his heart's origin into 9 drops of heart blood. These 9 drops ultimately nurtured the royal bloodlines of the three races. The power of a royal bloodline exceeds that of ordinary clan members by over 100-fold. Take the ancient god royal lineage as an example. For an ordinary ancient god to break through a major realm, it often requires thousands of years, along with countless trials and tribulations. Yet an ancient god of the royal lineage, relying on bloodline superiority alone, can achieve the same breakthrough in merely 100 years. The efficiency difference is nearly 10-fold. The disparity becomes even more shocking when it comes to physical durability. An ordinary ancient god's divine body can withstand the explosion of a mid-tier realm, but if struck by the catastrophic detonation of a high-tier realm, it would inevitably be shattered into dust. By contrast, the divine body of an ancient god royal, even when facing a terrifying explosion capable of tearing space apart, can remain completely unharmed. Its physical hardness rivals that of a primordial supreme treasure. An ancient god Tuo Sen stands at the absolute pinnacle of this royal bloodline. Compared to ancient demon Bailah, who also belongs to the three races, the royal bloodline alone already leaves Bailah far behind. After all, Bailah is merely an ordinary ancient demon, and his bloodline has been diluted across countless generations, leaving behind only a pitiful remnant of its original power. Under such innate conditions, Tuo Sen's royal bloodline advantage becomes even more pronounced. This is the fundamental reason he can look down upon others of his race. Moreover, the ancient god race is inherently the most powerful lineage among the three races. When Mo divided his 3,000 drops of essence blood, the ancient gods directly inherited nearly 70% of his source power. As a result, their overall strength far surpassed that of the ancient devils and ancient demons. Even an ordinary ancient god, when using basic divine abilities, can cause heaven and earth to tremble violently. A single punch can shatter mountains 10,000 zhong high, with the resulting debris scorching thousands of miles of land. Such terrifying destructive power allows them to challenge even royal ancient devils or royal ancient demons head-on. And when one considers that Tuo Sen possesses both a royal identity and the ancient god source, the gap between the two sides naturally becomes insurmountable. Yet this is only part of the reason for the overwhelming difference in strength. Looking further at racial talents, the ancient gods are born with strength as their supreme law. They feed on stars, absorbing stellar power to temper their physical bodies. Their flesh itself is their strongest divine artifact. An ancient god's body is like it was forged from billions of tons of primordial divine iron, unbreakable beyond measure. Ordinary magic treasures shatter instantly upon impact, unable to inflict even the slightest damage. Their combat style is incomparably domineering, relying purely on brute physical force to crush everything. A casual punch can pulverize countless mountains, while a full-powered strike can directly annihilate an entire life-filled planet. Even more astonishing, even the heavenly Tao, which embodies the laws of heaven and earth, must bow in submission before a peak ancient god, daring not to show the slightest defiance. By contrast, the ancient demon race specializes in soul manipulation, as well as the control of space and natural laws. They favor complex illusion arrays and concealed traps, seeking victory through strategy rather than frontal confrontation. Fundamentally speaking, the power systems of the two races are not even on the same level from their very roots. Yet all of this is still secondary. The most crucial factor lies in Bailah's current condition. One must know that the Bailah of today is no longer at his peak. Back then, he joined forces with the ancient devils to ambush the severely wounded Qinglin immortal emperor. However, even while gravely injured, Qinglin still possessed power capable of destroying heaven and earth, forcibly shattering Bailah's body and soul into 9 fragments. These fragments scattered and eventually formed the 9 demon counties of the land of monster spirits. The present Bailah is merely an incomplete soul, lacking even a full physical body. At best, his strength is only 30% of his former peak, with his combat power severely diminished. Meanwhile, ancient god Tuo Sen, an 8-star ancient god, royal, is currently at the height of his power. He has inherited the power legacy of ancient god Tu Si, and wields his natal weapon, the star-destroying spear. This spear contains power capable of rending the starry sky itself. With a casual swing, Tuo Sen can effortlessly destroy an entire planet. The resulting stellar core explosion can unleash an energy storm that sweeps across an entire star domain. With such a vast disparity in raw power and equipment, the difference between the two is truly heaven and earth apart. Thus, when Tuo Sen calls Bailah trash, it is not mere arrogance. Rather, the gap between them has already reached the level of absolute suppression. This difference stems both from innate bloodline and race, as well as from acquired fate. Born as a royal ancient god, Tuo Sen was destined from the very moment of his birth to stand upon a summit that Bailah could never hope to glimpse, let alone reach throughout his entire existence. His bloodline placed him above all peers. His origin surpassed that of ordinary beings, and his path forward was paved with complete and uninterrupted inheritances. Every step Tuo Sen took was guided by the accumulated power, wisdom, and authority of the ancient god race itself. Bailah, on the other hand, walked an entirely different road. Once a formidable ancient demon, he was brutally dismembered, his body destroyed, his soul shattered into fragments scattered across the land of monster spirits. What remains of him now is nothing more than an incomplete remnant, a broken shadow of his former peak, clinging to existence with less than 1/3 of his original strength. One ascended steadily, inheriting everything that was meant to be his. The other fell from glory, reduced to a fractured soul, struggling to reclaim even a fraction of his former might. Under such a disparity of fate, bloodline, and power, the gap between them is no longer one that can be bridged by effort or will alone. It is a difference as vast as heaven and earth. Thus, when it is said that Tuo Sen could annihilate Bailah with a single hand, it is not arrogance nor empty bravado. It is simply an undeniable statement of fact. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next epic clash, where gods fall, demons rise, and fate itself is rewritten. Your support fuels the journey. See you in the next video.